busy here tonight. Come around, I filled all of these holes. The old windows were riveted in. The owner's going to put these windows in. I don't know if he was going to Velcro these side ones in. He talked about doing that, making them so they were removable, and the rest of them he was going to put in with sealer. So he filled all those holes. Say, filled one up here where the old pin was. Down here I had to relocate this pin. Took care of all that. I'll show before we got this all done up front up here. We've got the wing all mounted now. Everything's glued on with these. Seems real solid. Both sides on that. They were loose, like I said. You always find some more. Big chip on the edge here we did. A little crack there. Here's what I hadn't seen before. We had a big crack right here, so I opened that up, V'd that out real nice. Took care of that. There's one right here. Again, we V'd that out good with our Dremel tool. Those two holes are not going to be used. Fill those. The same thing on this door over here. Next, I showed this before with the Dremel tool. This pointed spur bit. Now I'll show you something here on this. I have to fill these holes right here. So of course you see I ground the old paint back off the surface of the fiberglass mat here. And then I take and I bevel the edge. See around here if we can focus. Bevel the edge and you see the holes. I bore little holes around, all with a Dremel tool. That way when I apply the resin back here, it gives it something to set in, give it as much bite and grip as we possibly can. And then of course on this side, the same thing. I bevel the holes on this side. That way when we put our compound in now, we just polyester resin on this repair. It's too big for the methacrylate adhesive. That'll wedge our repair in to where we can at least try to minimize the chance of it cracking and breaking back out. That's always the bad part about fiberglass. Vibration spots and flex spots, any repairs like that have a tendency to want to crack and break back again. So this is how I repair holes. I'm sure other people have different ways. This is what I do. You can see the different layers in here if you look. The dark is the fiberglass. That's polyester resin and fiberglass matting. And then you see the white in there, that's another type of mat called core mat. It's a wafer type, lightweight mat. They use that for bulk fill. You saturate that out with resin, put that in. And then you can set a surface here. There's another layer of regular fiberglass chop strand mat. Alright, I'll bring you back to make some progress with this. Alright, it's real nice here today in Ohio. The door's all open. See, I think I've talked about this before. We prepped the holes for this repair. Had these holes drilled in this hood. We're going to fill these. You can see now it's just taped on the back side. I try not to shove the tape into the hole. I showed these were beveled on both sides. You don't want to push the tape down into the bevel. What I'll do is I'll put a little bit of polyester resin down in here. I have just chopped strand mat here. This is a 3/4 ounce, one layer, lightweight stuff, easy to work with, easy to tear. Come over here, it's polyester resin here. It is in my cup. Methyl ketone peroxide, that's the hardener for it. We'll mix some of that in, stir that up, brush out, and we'll come over here and we'll put a little resin in each one of those holes. Then we'll force some of this chopped strand mat that I've tore down in there. Work that in real well. Make sure we get some resin in all of these holes I said I'd drill in here. Bring you back after we get some of this done. Alright, there's my resin mixed up. I'll just kind of show you what I'm doing with this. Just putting it in that hole, pulling off around the edge, making sure I get it worked in those drill holes I told you I had. You don't want to push your tape down. I'm using this tape kind of like a mold to the other side. I'm going to put this in there and then go take some lunch, let this set up, and when I come back I'll finish filling these holes with the rest of the matting. Kind of using this tape to say like a mold. This will be kind of like a reverse mold process. Try to get my surface somewhat smooth when I peel that off. You don't want to put much in here, just enough to cover it. Because the resin without any strand in it is not very strong. So just enough to give it a little surface. Try not to get any air bubbles on in there, that's why I was rolling it over the edge. Let everyone see live time what's happening here. I better start watching the camera. I was probably just videoing the end of that hood. Alright, there you have that. Like I said, I'll go take some lunch now, come back after that's set. Be ready to put some matting into that, finish that repair up. Also, when you're using this product, polyester resins, you have to use acetone for solvent. Lacquer thinner will attempt to cut it, but it takes acetone for your cleanup. There you go. Alright, I'll bring you back to the next step here. Alright, I didn't bore you with the details of this. Like I said, all I had was the fiber strand mat here, and I tore it into small pieces. I started by fitting those in the holes, worked that in, ran it pretty wet with resin, and then put a couple of full layers over the outside of it. Smooth that off. So there's the fix on that. You can kind of see the holes. If the light hits them right, you can still see where they were. So it's about 7 o'clock here tonight. I'm about done for the night. Get some supper, maybe watch the basketball, let this set up. Bring you back and show you about a little scuff sand on it. Maybe ready to throw some more black paint on this inside of the hood. Alright, this sat overnight. It's pretty good on the repair there. Like I said, the light hits right, you can still see where those holes were. They're all filled over. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Alright, this I said I had it taped over on the outside. Okay, and look at that. There's all of our holes. They fill right up to the top. Anytime you do something like this, they feel a bit sticky up, but that'll all set up. We'll let that set for a little while, then we'll come back and we'll sand that on the top, and then we'll put just a glaze of filler over that. Alright, so there you go. There's our holes repaired.